In the month of April, Alex Garland had a brand new film release. Today, I'm going to rank all 5 of Alex Garland's films. Is this an excuse just to give you my review of Warfare? Yes, absolutely. I have not talked about the movie on the channel except in my out-of-theater short. Besides that, really just haven't talked about the movie because it's been a crazy month. I was in Tennessee for a little bit. Then when I got back, I had a bunch of Daredevil content and a bunch of other content I had to do, so just have not really been able to give you my thoughts on Warfare in a full-length video. So today we are going to do that when we get to that in the ranking. Also, last year when he released Civil War, I did put out a ranking on my old channel, but this is going to be an updated ranking with the new one, plus talking about some other Alex Garland films. Before I dive right in, please make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, and comment down below what are your opinions on Alex Garland as a filmmaker. I think he possibly is one of the best filmmakers working right now. Almost every single one of his movies just so cool, and his direction is amazing. So I'm a pretty big Alex Garland fan. I do like Alex Garland, but I would love to know your thoughts on him and what are your ranking of his films. Speaking of ranking of his films, let's do that right now. Coming in 5th place, we have Ex Machina. This one is a little bit frustrating for me. I wasn't sure how I would respond to it. It's kind of like an AI movie. I don't remember much about the movie. This is the one Alex Garland film I don't remember much about. I remember everything about Warfare, Civil War, Men, and Annihilation. I barely remember anything about this, so that's a negative of the movie in and of itself. But watching it, it's just kind of a weird experience because it's typically not the type of movie that I love, but it's a movie I don't hate. It had its moments. Oscar Isaac, I remember giving a fantastic performance in the movie. There were some very cool moments, some very cool world building. There was a couple cool twists here in the movie. But this is also the movie that just kind of was like, oh, okay. I don't know how I'm responding to this. I don't know what I feel about the story, the direction that it's going. And it took a really weird turn. To where in the third act, it just kind of gets weird. Kind of goes down a horror vibe, a completely different vibe. The third act had a completely different vibe than the first 2 acts of the movie. That's not a positive. When you go to the third act, and in some movies it is a positive. When you get to the third act and it has a completely different vibe, it's a cool switch up. And here, it just kind of left me with a dirty taste in my mouth. Like, okay. So we were good, and then you went and did that and completely switched the movie around. So, like I said, I don't remember too much about the movie. The story's not memorable, and the third act just goes really weird places. Oscar Isaac is the one thing I remember out of this movie, though. I do remember he gave a very good performance in this film. But besides that, for Alex Garland, not really his best movie. Number 4, we got Men. This was also a movie that was really, really weird. And a lot of the times, this felt like a movie that was weird for the sake of being weird, which is the negative they'll talk about. But this story had me more invested. This is a more memorable story. This is a story that kind of had twists. It had turns, and I was invested in it. There was also some very creepy moments. Alex Garland made 2 horror movies. We'll talk about Annihilation a little bit later. I think he's fantastic for a horror movie. If he ever goes back to doing a horror movie, that movie's going to be on my most anticipated list of the year. Because I think he's a fantastic horror director. There's several sequences here that have tension. What he does with the camera work is awesome. Just very cool. And it's a story that left me invested. I wanted to know what was going on inside this house, what was going on inside this village, and it kept me invested in the movie from beginning to end. I don't feel like the payoff was all that satisfying. For this movie, as well as Ex Machina, the final 10 minutes of this one, I wasn't the biggest fan of. Because it just feels really weird for the sake of just being really weird. Where you have like something, like a guy's belly button getting ripped open and something crawling out. And then that guy's belly button getting ripped open, something crawling out. Kind of like birth or whatever. Like giving that analogy, I guess is the word. It's really weird. What they do in the third act is really weird. And I don't really know what it was trying to convey. I don't really know the themes that the movie was trying to get across. Where I literally looked it up after watching the movie. Like, what's the ending of Men mean? And I didn't get a single positive answer. All I got was, how are we supposed to know? He did not convey that at all in the final 10 minutes. I had no idea what was happening. Apparently there was something to do with abuse and pregnancy or whatever. I did not get the final 10 minutes. Which is a bummer because the rest of the movie I thought was a pretty effective thriller. And then it goes really weird. The themes don't work. the final 10 minutes kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. Still, I think I definitely like this one much more than Ex Machina. I definitely had a much better time watching the movie. I thought its vibe was much better, but still, it's got its major flaws. In third place, we got the brand new one, Warfare. Now, this is a movie that is more of an experience than a movie. There were times I was bored, where there are sequences literally where our characters are just sitting around saying military lingo that I don't understand a single word they're saying. It does get bored from time to time. I did very much get bored. But when it's doing the war stuff, when it's having the mission, it's an experience. It's a movie unlike I've ever seen before. It's one of the most unique things I've ever seen. Whether you get into the sound design where you feel every shot of a gun, you feel every explosion, you feel every time a helicopter comes across, you feel every time that someone gets shot. The sound design immerses you. It feels like you're sitting there in this war, in this mission with these characters. It's hard to watch very much a lot of the times. There's specifically after we hit the middle of the movie, someone gets critically injured. He's sitting there writhing in pain, screaming. It feels like you're there. It's an injury. It's a problem in a movie that feels so much more. It feels like it has so much more weight than if you're watching any other movie. Because this is based off the memory of soldiers that were actually in this battle. So, you know, when Joseph Quinn is crying on the floor because his legs got absolutely demolished, you know that this actually happened to a real person. This is something that actually happened. Another guy, his legs get demolished, actually happened to a real person. It is so unbelievably hard to watch at times. The sound design, the camera work, everything makes you feel like you're in the middle of this battle. And when you're having gunshots, you're sitting there and you're stressing out. I was stressed out the entire movie because it's a movie that you're based off memory. Everything feels more real because of the filmmaking skill of Alex Garland. After Civil War came out last year, I never thought of Alex Garland as like this amazing director. Thought he was good, but I never considered him to be one of the greats. After watching this movie, the first thing I thought was, holy crap. Alex Garland might be one of the best directors to ever hold a camera because of what he's able to do with this movie. And not to mention Ray Mendoza, he also directs the movie. He worked on the script. He was literally in this battle. So, shout out Ray Mendoza as well. But this is a movie, this is cinema. It's not cinema to the point of it feels like a movie. It's cinema to the point of it knows what it wants to do. It wants to put you in the middle of this battle. And it does that so effectively that I walked out shaking. I walked out of that movie. I was at a hotel and it was a boring day. So me and my brother walked over there. And we could literally walk over to the theater. Walking over to the theater, I was still thinking about it. The entire day, I was still thinking about this movie. And that's what this movie wants to do. And it does it so effectively. Warfare does that so effectively. Would I ever watch the movie again? No, probably not. I watched it on a big screen. I would probably still feel the same if I watched it at home just because of the potent nature of the movie. But it's never something I'd ever choose to turn on again. There were sequences where I was kind of bored. You're just sitting there waiting. But it does everything so effectively. It's probably going to end up in my top 20 of the year. But personally, for me, like, I personally, as someone who loves movies, would prefer to watch a movie to be entertained than to be shoved inside a war like this. But for a movie, it's one of the most interesting and creative, stylish, and just emotional film. So many words can use to describe this, but what I use to describe this is pure filmmaking masterclass. Number 2, and it's crazy. It's crazy that I had to put Warfare at number 3. That's how good these other 2 movies are. Number 2, I got Alex Garland's Civil War from last year. This was one of my most anticipated of the movies of last year, and I kind of left the theater a little bit disappointed, mainly because of the final 20 minutes. But this is a movie that's able to tell a compelling story about America being in another civil war with trying to step on as little toes as possible. It tells a story in an election year, of no doubt, that could easily piss Republicans, Democrats, anybody off that lives in America or even beyond America. It can piss them off all the time. And what it does is it tells a story through journalism. That's one of the best things this movie does, is find a way to tell the story as compelling as possible without being controversial. Of course, the movie still was controversial because we live in America and people get offended over everything, but that's besides the point. He does it through journalism. You have these characters, and they're literally doing their jobs. Their jobs are to bring the news to the people, to take photos, show people what's going on. That's what they do. Every character is so investing. Callie Spaney's in this movie. She's incredible as always. Kirsten Dunst, really good in this movie as well. So a great cast here. The sound design, I mean, I was talking great about the sound design in Warfare. That's better than this one. The sound design in here is freaking amazing as well, where every shot, you feel every plane, you feel every explosion, you feel everything. I bought the movie on 4K because I was excited to feel that on a rewatch. And I did last year sometime, and I still felt it just as much as I felt it watching it in the movies. So the sound design was great, the characters are great, and the last 20 minutes rather, I was not invested in the theater, and that's what made me leave the movie feeling a little disappointed. This time, I was fully invested. I don't know what I was thinking, but it felt a little souring that we just watched someone, one of our main characters die, and that's it. But, I mean, I felt it so much more. I felt like it actually got its point across. I don't know what I was thinking in the theater. So the final 20 minutes, even though I wasn't a fan of it in the theater, it was much better at home too. So Alex Garland makes a Civil War movie that has so many controversial elements, and he makes it to be the least controversial. And it's a really, really good movie. But my favorite movie of his, the only movie I'd give 5 stars to, and it's probably the most scared I've been watching a movie in my life, Annihilation. Annihilation is amazing. Why do I think Annihilation's amazing? What do I think works so much about it? Well, for the majority of the movie, it's just kind of like you go into this void. There's creatures here. They're terrifying creatures. There's the bear that mimics the sounds, and I've never rewatched it since I watched it for the first time last year. I mean, I adore this movie. I probably do need to rewatch it, but it freaks me out so much. It's so hard to turn it on. And the bear's so creepy. I still, remember that sequence so vividly. And it's because Alex Garland, again, has so much cool direction, what he does with the camera and all that. Very, very scary. But it's 2/3 a very compelling, into the void, kind of mysterious mystery horror movie. So compelling, characters so compelling, you want to know what happened in this mystery. It's very creepy. And it's the third act, specifically the final 20 minutes, that live rent-free in my head. Where Alex Garland knows how to make horror. And how he makes horror is he puts stuff on screen that the human mind cannot comprehend. Something that he didn't do well in Men was try to make it scary in the third act, and it just got weird for the sake of being weird. Here, he knows that we fear what we don't understand. And that's what he does with this entity. They go into this house-like thing, and there's this entity here. And it's slowly turning into Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman's there as well, slowly turning into her. And you just watch it, and it's so creepy as you're watching this thing turn into her. You don't know what it is. You fear it because you don't understand it. The visuals, the themes. It's so scary because you don't understand what's happening. Tricks the human mind. It's the most scared I've ever been during a movie. I'm not even going to lie. Watched this movie last year in April before Civil War came out. And it's the most scared I have ever been watching a film. The score is terrifying. It used to be it's this meme score. They use it in memes. And now, after I watch the movie and I see one of those memes, I get chills listening to that score because everything about it's so scary. Alex Garland knows what he wants to do, and he did it so perfectly in this movie. It's terrifying. The most scared I've ever been watching a movie in my life. So, it's easily number 1. Probably will never leave number 1. It's one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. So, thank you guys for clicking on this video of my Alex Garland movies rank. Please make sure to subscribe, the like button, hit the bell, and comment down below what are your opinions on Alex Garland and how would you rank his films. And with that said, subscribe.